Hi, John from Demon Performance. Uh, what does an X-Pipe do? Well, first let's talk about the most verifiable and obvious advantage. It saves you weight. This is a catalytic converter. It has baffles in it, as you can see, so I imagine you could take those out. I'm not sure it would do much advantage. The thing weighs 5 pounds, plus or minus. Uh, and the X-Pipe weighs about pound and a half, so there's quite a bit of savings there. Now I want to make clear that the video you just saw was using stock mufflers on both runs. This is my aftermarket or self-made glass pack. It only weighs 2.5 pounds, so 5 pounds for two of them, plus maybe a pound and a half for the decat, and you're saving you know 16 or 17 pounds. Oh no, I'm sorry, 13 pounds over the stock setup with the catalytic converter and the stock muffler. So that's a substantial amount of weight. That's easy to measure. Now, depending on your aftermarket mufflers or whether you use stock mufflers, you'll save more or less weight. The next easy thing to notice that an X-Pipe does for your bike is to make it considerably louder. And probably many of you will add an X-Pipe just for that reason alone, just to make your bike louder. If you're, for example, using a slip-on that's designed for use with the catalytic converter for the Triumph Street Twin or other water-cooled twins, you'll find by putting on a cat delete that you're going to make that pipe extremely loud. It might be to your liking, it may be not. For me, it was a little loud with my slip-ons. I'm still trying to strike a balance there. The most obvious performance-related benefit of an X-Pipe is that it increases flow. You're taking out that huge chunk of ceramic honeycomb called a catalytic converter, and you're getting rid of those baffles that I showed you previously that are present in the front end of the catalytic converter. And this just increases flow, which increases velocity, and velocity increase equals more horsepower. It's very simple. There are some other considerations, some torque considerations, which I'll get into later. I want to talk now about some of the more esoteric advantages of an X-Pipe, aside from the aforementioned ones. And the first one I'll mention is that by having an X-Pipe and connecting the two exhaust headers before they enter the muffler, you're balancing the exhaust pulses. This just is a general increase in efficiency in the engine. There are various reasons I won't go into, but that's one of the advantages. The next advantage is a scavenging point. An X-Pipe is a potential scavenging point, and with the kind of engine that a street twin or other water-cooled twin has, with the 180-degree firing order, it's ideal for scavenging. You have two pulses that are 180-degree opposed, and that's a very good potential for increased scavenging. So what an X-Pipe does is balances those pulses and gives you better scavenging. Okay, what is scavenging? Well, there are two basic kinds of scavenging, to oversimplify it. There's inertia scavenging, which is just the result of the pulse of the exhaust coming out of moving down the pipe and creating a negative pulse wave behind it as it goes out. Okay, so that's drawing more air behind it. That's fairly simple to understand. The other is wave scavenging, and this is a little bit different. Has nothing to do with the gases themselves moving through the pipe. It has to do with a sound wave. These gases are moving at a speed greater than that of the speed of sound, so this gets to be a little bit complicated. You've got the gases themselves passing through the pipe, and you've got these sound waves that are passing through the pipes, actually going ahead of the exhaust gases themselves. So when a header designer is taking all these things into consideration, one thing they'd like to do is time it so that when this pulse reaches a collector box, or in this case an X-Pipe, that negative wave that gets reflected back up the other pipe hits the valves at just the right time, and that's the time when when there's any valve overlap or just before compression. This gets very technical, very mathematical, but The beauty of a water-cooled twin is that it's, as I said, a 270-degree crank. The firing order is 180 degrees. The timing of those pulses is almost ideal for scavenging effect. So the designers of these X-pipes really don't have to do a lot. I don't believe they are doing any complex calculations. This is only my feeling. What they can do, and what some of them do, is they play with the volume of the collector or X-pipe itself. Larger diameter pipes, larger volumes, larger or smaller cross sections can all have a significant effect on the amount of scavenging in any given X-pipe. And I think one reason you don't see a lot of technical information coming from any of the manufacturers themselves is that they're not doing this research. It's not that important to them. They want to get an X-pipe on the market. Most guys want it for loudness or noise, and any kind of a performance advantage is going to be somewhat automatic just because of the nature of the beast. We're not changing the header diameters, we're not changing the header lengths. The only thing we're changing is this collector area, this X-pipe, in order to increase scavenging, and any little bit will help. Some do it better than others. I just want to back up a second. I want to kind of correct a couple of things I said. I didn't mean to imply that these people, manufacturers, are not doing any research when they're designing these things. I'm sure there are, but what I meant was that they're not redesigning the headers from the ground up to incorporate an X-pipe. They're plugging in an X-pipe into an existing system for the most part. So I'm sure that many of the manufacturers have done a lot of test bed work to find out what's what. I just don't think that they're delving into sophisticated header design to bring these to market. I purposely haven't touched on a lot of other issues and considerations when designing mufflers, and I don't really want to get into that, but exhaust gas temperatures, diameters of pipes, back pressure, all these things come into play. But suffice to say, this is a very general discussion on what X-pipe may or may not be able to do for you. I want to include at the end here a little flow chart. This is a little animation on how scavenging works. This doesn't particularly represent any particular kind of scavenging, but it'll give you a good idea, a good visualization of how alternate firing scavenging can work to help extract the gases. Thanks for watching, and I hope I didn't bore you too much. See you next time.